Hello everyone. Today we will discuss in class practice question of block number 17. So lesson number 1 is friction at rest and in motion. Filling the blanks. A part, a ball moving on the ground will stop moving oblique continue moving after some time due to frictional force. So ball will stop moving. Answer is stop moving. Frictional force acting on a pencil kept on a table with the help to will help to hold or slide the pencil. It will help to hold, as we have discussed that friction helps in holding a pen to write the things. So answer is hold. What is one thing that frictional force tries to resist on your school bag that is kept on the floor and on a cycle while it is running? Explain your answer. So frictional force try to prevent them from sliding. Frictional force hold the bag tight in its position, and frictional force resist the sliding motion of a cycle. Next question is, one has to push a cycle harder on a lane A than on lane B. Which lane offers more friction and why? We know more friction helps to make things harder to move. So in lane A offers more friction as compared to lane B. Lesson 2, more or less friction. Question number 1, which of these can be used to measure the frictional force on a glass, on a table, spring balance or thermometer? So the answer is spring balance, that is used to measure the frictional force. Thermometer is an instrument that is used to measure the temperature. Second question is, which one will offer more friction? A smooth surface or a rough surface? Why? We have already discussed that friction smoothness depends upon the friction. More the friction, harder the surface, lesser the friction, smoother the surface. So rough surface will offer more friction. It is because when the two surfaces are in contact, that are in rough space, then friction between them will be large. Why this friction is large? Because there are more irregularities between these rough surfaces, and more irregularity means more interlocking between the surface. Question number 3 is, why it is difficult to climb up a greasy pole? We already know that lubricants helps to smoother the surface. Smoother surface means there is a less friction. If there is a less friction, means it would be more difficult to climb on a greasy pole. Lesson 3, friction harmful and useful. Question number 1, Neelu wants to write a paragraph on a piece of paper. What is the role of friction of her to write? Yes, we have already discussed that frictional force help to hold the things. Means it helps to hold the pen in our finger so that we can write. And due to this friction, this pen will not slide on the paper, which ultimately helps to write things on a paper. Second question is, Write the role of the friction in each of the following cases. First, soles of shoes wear out gradually. Why soles wear out gradually? This is due to the frictional force between the road and the soles of your shoes. Due to this friction, the soles are wear off. B. Tires of car wear out gradually. So tires also wear out gradually due to the frictional force between the tire and the road. And rubbing of tires on the road is the main cause of the wearing of these tires. C part is nails can be fixed on the wall. This is also done due to the frictional force. When we hammer a nail into a wall, the friction between the surface of nail and the wall hold the nail tightly into the wall. Third question is, write 2 things you do at home that you cannot do without friction. Yes, you can write down any 2 things, but I am discussing we can do our homework by holding a pencil in our hand. We can eat the food with the help of friction. Because while eating, suppose you are eating something with spoon. For holding that spoon, you need a frictional force. Next, cleaning action. You can do the cleaning action like you are doing dusting at your home. That is also done due to the frictional force. Like you are doing dusting with the cloth. So there is a friction between your hands and the cloth, which helps to do the dusting part. Next is lesson number 4, increasing and decreasing friction. First, friction can be increased by, circle the correct answer, grooving, polishing, streamlining, oiling. We have already discussed grooving. What does it mean? Groove means a long, deep and narrow cuts that makes the surface hard. So right answer is, you will circle the grooving part. Streamline is the shape that is thinner from the starting part and the end part, and thick at the middle part. For example, fish body is streamlined. Polishing you know, oiling that you also know. Question number 2, how can we increase friction on a slippery ground during raining season? So we can increase the friction by throwing sand, gravel on the slippery ground so that friction can be increased. Remember, lubricants are used to reduce the friction. So here question is demanding that you need to increase the friction. For increasing friction, we can throw sand, gravel on the slippery road. Question last, why do the shoes of football player have spikes on the soles? So why that spikes means they are sharp. They are very sharp. So why they are having spikes? So that the footballer can have the strong grip on the ground while standing, walking or running. Football player they have to run on a muddy grounds. So the spikes helps in increasing the friction, which in turns help them which also prevent them from falling. So that's all about this block. Thank you.